Hello, Facebook Live land. Steve Sipress here on Wednesday, May 9th, 2017. Welcome to today's daily Facebook Live video. As always, I started off by sharing one of my collection of over 800 rhinos, and this is a kind of a cool, I don't know what's made, it's some kind of stone. Little like pillbox, put some coins in there, or rings, or whatever, and has the letter E for some reason. E for rhino, and a nice rhino on the cap, and some nice wildlife scenes that rhinos would enjoy on the sides. So there's a little cool box. Oh, rhino. Phil Brakefield, Rob Onspach, thanks for being here, guys. So today I'm going to share, today is Topical Tuesday. Topical Tuesday. Tip of the cap to Rob Onspach. I am theming out my week. So yesterday we had Direct Mail Monday, and today we have Topical Tuesday. And E for rhino, yes, E for rhino. You didn't know that in Rhino, Swahili, some kind of strange language, I guess, that no, you know what it is? When you have, you don't have anything in the box and you can see to the bottom, it's empty. The box is on E. Got to go fill her up. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Speaking of which, 2 lessons from 2 different late-night talk show hosts with 2 different situations that have been topical in the news over the last week, and therefore prime candidates for today's Topical Tuesday. So, first one is Jimmy Kimmel, who now I should have done a little research here and find out what the heck the channel they're on, but he's on one of the networks. And he took over for, either Jay Leno or Letterman or Johnny Carson or Conan O'Brien or somebody, came before him. Anyway, he's doing it now. And Jimmy Kimmel, who was he on Saturday Night Live? Anyway, whatever. Jimmy Kimmel is the host. And he told an emotional, heartfelt story last week about how his newborn baby needed emergency surgery and almost died, and then he decided to get all political about it and tied into some ridiculous concept as if somehow any doctor in anywhere in America, in any hospital, would ever let any newborn baby die no matter what, whether you were rich, poor, had insurance, had not. But because this whole health care bill is in the news and the implosion of Obamacare and the end of that, and whether the new Republican thing is as it is now, likely worse, better, whatever the heck it is, it was time, it was great timing for this story in Jimmy Kimmel's life to turn it into a political thing. So here's the deal. If he or any other, whoever does late night talk shows or daytime talk shows or anybody had just come on and said, I am in favor of Obamacare and I am not in favor of whatever Republicans are doing to replace it. It would not have made the news, no one would have heard about it, no one would be talking about it, I certainly wouldn't be talking about it here. But because he told a personal, emotional story, it grabbed the attention of not only his audience, but then it played all over the news. How else would I see it? I'm not watching that show. But it's all over the news, and as I looked for something to see, what it was about today, or how to spell his name, or whatever I was looking up, and I saw a couple of videos where he's now been on other shows. He's been on like news channels. Suddenly he's somebody to talk about Obamacare or the Republican bill or Trump care or whatever you want to call it. Suddenly he's somebody to talk about that. Why? Because he had a personal story. Again, whether it's ridiculous or not, this whole concept of like, as if if he wasn't wealthy, or if he didn't have Obamacare, the doctor would have let the newborn baby die, and not, how ridiculous a concept. Which begs the question, health insurance is what all this political stuff is about, and it's amazing how nobody ever seems to really talk about health care, which isn't that the real issue, health care. I mean, for crying out loud, if you brought down the exorbitant cost of health care in America, then I have a feeling that the cost of health insurance would also come down, or we could not need health insurance for every little thing. We would need it for some catastrophic thing like what happened in this case to the baby. But again, if you have an emergency, especially a brand new baby has an emergency, you're going to get cared for anyway. The point is, this thing blew up and is all over the news and is likely to go on and on and on, and it's likely now that I think about it, that Jimmy Kimmel, no matter whatever joke he tells, I'm sure he tells jokes on that show, and he interviews celebrities, because that's what they do on these shows, right? I'm sure that no matter who he interviews and no matter what jokes he tells, he's always going to be known as that guy with the baby who almost died who told that emotional story. So what about you as a small business owner? Are you known as, oh yeah, he's a plumber? Oh yeah, he owns a retail store. He owns that pizza place. Like, or is it he's that pizza guy with that emotional story about how his grandfather passed down the recipe from the old days in the old country, and he brought it here and he shared it with everybody, and he, you know, swept the floors when he was a kid, or he came to this country with nothing in his pocket and he cleaned the bathrooms and now he owns the place? Or, you know, what emotional story can you tell about why you're doing your business? Hopefully you're not ownership of your business and running your business because you woke up one day and said, I know how to soak people for lots of money and sell a lot of stuff, I'll start a business. Hopefully there is an emotional, endearing story about why you started your business, or why you're in business, or why you do things a certain way, or why you still get up every day and go into your business. You know, could you sell the business now? Could you retire? Could you do something else? But why do you do your business? It's got to be an emotional story. For me, I have a story from when I was a consultant with a Yellow Pages company. And I was going to see advertiser after advertiser after advertiser, small business owner after small business owner after small business owner, when I had been one, when I had helped so many over the years, and they were all miserable about their Yellow Pages ad. They all wanted to cancel it. It's not working. Nobody's calling. And I was like, I got to find a way to help these people. Either I'm not going to get paid, they're all going to cancel their ad, or this whole BS about how, which they trained us at the Yellow Pages to, if their small ad isn't working, sell them a bigger ad. I'm like, that's got to be BS. Sure, it's going to get a few more, get more attention, it'll get a few more calls, but there's got to be a way to figure out how to write an effective ad, how to make something work. And I started to read every book about marketing and advertising and effective writing of ads. Charles Schwab, and write down the specialty Yellow Pages books. If I had them right near me on the bookshelf, I'd pull them into the video, but they're in the other room in my library right now. But I was reading books specifically about Yellow Pages advertising and bought courses on it and spent thousands of dollars and went to conferences and interviewed all kinds of people and called all around the country and find out everything I could know to help small business owners with the Yellow Pages advertising and to make my job less miserable. And so that maybe I would walk in and people would thank me for the help and maybe refer me to people, and not maybe, but all that started happening. And therefore, I started to actually make sales, make them really easily because I was helping people, and get repeat business and get referrals and win all the awards and all the trips and all the commissions and all the, what do you call it, the promotions and, you know, anything that was going on, I won. Not because I was just selling them a bigger ad and following the training advice or telling them how good the Yellow Pages is or how many people read it and all that BS they want us to tell, because I actually cared about the small business owner, helped them fix the ad. Well, then I got tired of working for that ridiculous company that soon after I left has now gone through bankruptcy 3 times. Not because I left, well, maybe, but in all seriousness, the writing was on the wall, company sucked, and I had to get out of there. And I started my own consulting business helping small businesses with their advertising, because small business owners still to this day need help with their advertising, maybe more than ever, because times have been tough for the last 8+ years, in case you haven't noticed. Economy's growing at 1% or some nonsense. So when, if ever, do you need more help with your advertising? So I wake up every morning, the juices are flowing to share all this knowledge I have to help small business owners do more effective marketing and advertising for their business, so they don't experience that frustration that I saw firsthand when I walked into their homes and sat across the table, and there's their wife and there's their kids, and they're telling me I can't even pay the bill of the Yellow Pages. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to survive in business. And I was able to help them out, and now I do the same for small business owners. That's my story. Hopefully there was some emotion in there that you felt. There was some reason why. That helps me connect with people. It helps my prospects, business owners, understand that there's plenty of way I could sell plenty of stuff, and there's plenty of things you can sell, and you can make plenty of money. I have a passion for helping small business owners with their advertising and marketing. So tell your emotional story. That's how you connect with people. That's what you saw Jimmy Kimmel do last night on a late night talk show. that made today's Topical Tuesday. Now, the second late-night story that's been in the news is Stephen Colbert, another late-night talk show host on another channel. I assume unless they're back-to-back, they're on different channels. And so he took over for somebody else, I guess, who, you know, I would know from back in the day, Johnny Carson or whoever. And, oh, we got a comment here. Awesome story. Thank you, Rob. Wow, thank you. Phil Brayfield, indeed, the piece I wrote about my daughter. So now here's the story. Phil's saying, the piece I wrote about my daughter's death, which, again, I'm so sorry to hear about that. The untimely death of Phil's fantastic, wonderful daughter from a drug overdose. Which, there you go. Now you've got me all emotional. I can't even get through the rest of the video now. Anyway, so that has taken on a life of its own, and as a result, you're saving a lot of lives all over the world. Who knew? You got to tell me more about that sometime. But you see what happened? So nobody, I hope, no, well, they can if they can say whatever they want, but I can't. It's terrible if people think, therefore, oh, therefore that was a positive thing. Sure, it's positive, and you know, Phil knows how to turn a negative into a positive. But that negative, gut-wrenching situation, look what Phil's doing by telling that story. Phil could have just hid and said, you know, I'm not telling anybody about it. I'm depressed. I'm gonna withdraw. I'm not going to tell anybody. Phil's telling that story, I'm gathering from what you're saying here. And as a result, look at the good effect it's having on people. So that's lesson number one. Tell an emotional story. And I don't care what business you're in. I've done it with hundreds, thousands of business over the last decades. I can help pull out of you an emotional story that will connect with your ideal prospects, your ideal who, as I call it in the WOW strategy. The first W stands for the who. It'll connect with your ideal who in a way that'll make them want to do business with you. If you want help with that, let me know. Email Steve at Steve Sipress. Send me a message right here on Facebook, and I'll help you out. Okay. Second lesson was Stephen Colbert, who made a really joke about the president. Now, this created outrage or false outrage or whatever you want to call it. Oh, I can't believe he said such a thing. And oh, really now? Have you like turned the channel to HBO? Like watch the movie, which used to be in theaters, but now they're right in your home. And you're going to tell me that that's some kind of, I don't know, it was bleeped out. So I don't know the exact language he said, but who cares? I'm sure it's nothing. You hear it every time you watch a movie. And even sometimes on a cable channel, you'll hear, you know, curse words or what do you even call it? I mean, see, I don't even know what you call it. Flowery language or, you know, whatever you want. Who cares? Why is this such a big deal? It's not. Comedians, that's what some comedians do. Some comedians do not. They work clean. Jerry Seinfeld, you know, Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, and on and on. There are plenty of comedians through the years that are known to work clean, and there's others who work blue. Richard Pryor, you know, was famous for his going on and his rants and whatever. And I guess I'm not up on all the comedians now these days, but there's plenty that love to throw in all kinds of four-letter words, and that's what they do. So he threw out a four-letter word. Oh, but it was on network TV. Is it really? So you know the difference with your digital remote control, the difference between channel, you know, 5 or whatever the heck he's on, and channel 42, which is cable, or channel 382, which is Showtime, HBO, whatever. I mean, they got naked people running around cursing and killing people in cold blood. And you're outraged. I'm outraged that he told this joke about the president. Give me a break. But here's what it did. It created this controversy. Suddenly, Steve Colbert is all over the place again because I heard of it, and I have not heard a single joke he's told on whatever show he's on whatever channel, and I never will hear, or probably, of a single joke of any until this one, because it's controversial. So you want to be controversial, gets attention. Now, I looked up to see, first, again, I just wanted to see how do you spell his name, and apparently it's Stephen with a PH. Now, the real way to spell it, of course, is Steve Sipress, which if you're on Facebook, you see it right there, S-T-E-V-E. It's with a V. But he spells it wrong and has a PH. And so I had to look that up. But as I see it, look at these headlines. I just typed his name in here, and look at the headlines. Stephen Colbert nabs big ratings win amid fire Colbert backlash. Oh, yeah. Oh, fire him. Boycott him. Fire him. Give me a break. Fire him. Because he told a joke with a rude word. Slap him. Hey, don't do that again. And they bleeped it out. I don't know if they bleeped it again because I didn't see the actual show. It's probably taped beforehand, and they bleeped it out. I mean, the thing I saw on the news was bleeped out, so I got an idea what he said, but I don't know. But, like, come on now. Fire him? I don't, you know. Give me a break. The next one. Late Show with Stephen Colbert, ratings, TV by the numbers. Next one. Controversy becomes Stephen Colbert with ratings win. Stephen Colbert on 10 weeks at the top. Trump and why he something. Fire who? The Late Show just scored best ratings since premiere. Colbert has good week in ratings despite controversy. Colbert has, that's Chicago Tribune, where I just moved from Chicago 15 years, and they're so brain dead and clueless, which you, dear viewer of this video or listener on the Rhino Daily podcast, are hearing this and are no longer, if you are, going to be clueless here. It's not Colbert has good week in ratings despite controversy. If the Chicago Tribune or any of these other people had a clue, it's Colbert has good week in ratings because of controversy. Because of controversy, not despite controversy. If there was no controversy, he would not have the ratings that he has. I'm just going to predict. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know who his guests were going to be on the days after the show or whatever, but he's getting all this attention because of controversy, not despite controversy, not in spite of, not oh, if he wasn't controversial, he would still have all these great no. So he knows that, from what I heard and read now, ever since Trump took office, and probably ever since he won the election, Stephen Colbert has understood, genius marketing mind, to understand, I'm going to bash the crap out of him more than any other late night guy. Late night guys are going to be milquetoast and try and say something funny, but not too whatever, because I don't want to get backlash, and I don't want to get hashtag fire Jimmy Kimmel or whoever the other guys are. Like, I'm afraid of that controversy. Colbert said, what are you, crazy? I want to be number one. I'm going to be controversial. Now, ironically, I am also co-host of the Lessons Learned from Donald Trump podcast, where my co-host Everett Farnell and I have a ton of fun every week. Episode 59 is coming up on Saturday. There's a new episode every Saturday. We have a blast talking about not anything about politics, about lessons learned from Trump. It's business lessons learned from the political career, if you can call it that, of 2 years. I guess you have to call it. He's a president, so he's got quite a successful career, I will say. Probably the least amount of time in a political career to be president. I mean, it has to be, so pretty good at it. But we teach business lessons based on what he's doing in politics. And so lesson number 1 on the very first episode, unless I think I remember pretty clearly, that was our first episode, was Trump is controversial. Gets the attention of the media, gets attention of the American people, or the worldwide. He gets attention by being controversial. Now, sometimes, I don't want to get off on a Trump thing here, but sometimes he gets attention by saying controversial things when I'm not so sure he meant it. He just says something stupid. In this case, Colbert can't possibly be the point. He's got like 25 writers or whatever. I guess if you watch the TV show, watch the scroll at the end, you'll see he's got to have over 10 or 20 writers. It was rehearsed beforehand. If it was the opening monologue that they all do, I'm sure they rehearsed it beforehand, and he was very clear. This was meant to be said. It wasn't off the cuff. It wasn't like Trump in the early campaign days of his campaign with no teleprompter. He would just say crazy, ridiculous things once in a while. And he still does, because he goes off the prompter. And some of the things on the prompter sometimes that he says are just ridiculous. And sometimes things he does are ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. Colbert very purposely says, from the moment Trump won the election, probably way before, I'm going to bash the crap out of him. I'm going to pull no punches. I'm going to be so controversial. I'm just going to let it all out there. And as a result, he's number 1. According to all this, he's got the best ratings. He's 10 weeks at the top. He's got a ratings win. Colbert ratings trump Fallon. Okay, Fallon. There's another guy, Fallon, who must be in the same time slot on another channel for 7th straight week. So is he doing that because he's, trying to do the right thing that the censors say is okay? Okay, he's being controversial. So in your business, how could you be controversial in your business? Here's the thing. You don't want to go out there and say stupid controversial things like, I'm an attorney I'm a drunk, I will help you get off your drunk driving because I love drunk drivers, call me. Okay, that's controversial and really ridiculous. Okay, don't be putting up a big billboard going, I love drunk drivers, call me, attorney, whatever, 1-800-DUI, I get you off. Like, no, that's not what I mean. The way to do it in business, elegantly, the best, most effective way to do it is to pick an enemy, a common enemy. an easy to bash enemy, just like Colbert does. Trump is easy, is he not, to bash. He's pretty much the easiest living human being on earth right now to bash. And in fact, even in America, there's like at least 50-something% of America still hates him and despises him and can't believe he's a president and hates anyone that voted for him. I mean, hates his daughter and his brother, and does he have a brother? I don't know. They hate everything to do with him. And everyone in the White House, everyone he appoints, everyone he fires, everything he does. If he fires a guy, he should have fired him a month ago. And if he doesn't fire him, he should have fired him. And if he has him on his staff, what are you doing? And if he doesn't have him on the staff, he should have. And, it doesn't matter. Whatever he does, everyone there's enough millions of people that hate him. Well, so Colbert picked him out and has an enemy that's in common with his chosen who, his target market, the people he wants to watch a show. Now, is Colbert ignoring half of America? Sure. I'm pretty sure that if he ignores half America but has the other half to watch him on late night, he wins. He's number one, and he makes a crap load of money, and he stays on the air forever. Same thing in your business. Common enemy. So if you are an attorney, you could say, we help you fight the IRS and keep your money out of their greedy little hands, because it's pretty universal. Everyone hates the IRS. If you, if you're a medical malpractice attorney, you could say, we stop the hospitals from causing harm and getting away with harm that they cause you. Things like that. You want to have an enemy that is a common enemy that people can rally around, so you can be controversial against the common enemy. How about picking a law that's stupid? Let's say you're an HVAC guy, and you say, like, the laws against disposals of all the fluorocarbon disposals. I have an HVAC guy that says, to dispose of a old refrigerator, used to cost $5, whatever, you drop it off. Now it's $60 because you got to take out a little canister of fluoro, whatever the heck, and dispose of it properly, and the permits and the this and that and whatever. And so can't help it, the price has to go up. Not my fault that I got to raise my prices. Blame the regulations of the government. Do people like the government? Blame the Congress. They passed this law. Do people like the Congress? I don't know. Single-digit approval. So pick an enemy so you can be controversial in your business. It's going to get you attention. People are going to rally around it. Okay, that's it for today's Daily Facebook Live video. Topical Tuesday. 2 topics in the news from 2 different late-night talk show hosts who did 2 different things last week and taught 2 lessons to all business owners and entrepreneurs. Number 1, tell emotional stories about why you're doing your business. It gets people to connect. Number 2, be controversial against the common enemy that's easy to hate. The people can rally around you. It'll get you attention. You'll stand out from the crowd. That's the first step to getting people to contact you, want to do business with you, give you their money. You can give your value in return. It's a win-win. Everybody's happy. That's it for today. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Rob. Thanks anyone else watching live. I know once in a while I don't see the comments. So if you've been here and you put a comment and I didn't see it, I apologize. But I will respond if you put it on a comment on the replay, or shoot me a private message or email Steve@Sipress. I'll also help you out implementing either one of these 2 concepts or anything else that I talk about into your business. Let me know. I love to help small business owners. And that's what I do, and that's why I'll be back in tomorrow. Now, preview of tomorrow to be something special. It's going at it precisely. Normally, you never know when I'm coming on live, although it tends to be towards the end of the day like this. It'll be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Wednesday, May 10th. I will be interviewing author and marketer extraordinaire Dustin Matthews, author of the just published or on the cusp of about to be published book, along with the co-writer, co-author Dan Kennedy, in the No BS book series. This one is the No BS Guide to Powerful Presentations. Dustin is an absolute wizard at getting people to show up either in person for seminars or online for seminars, webinars as they call them, and then to get your message across and to be able to sell either in person in a seminar or online in a webinar. So if you've always wanted to find what is the secret, what's the key to getting people to show up and then getting people to connect with me and to believe in my message and for me to persuade them, for me to want to become a customer or a client or a patient or a member or whatever it is so that I can help them out, then you definitely want to be on this live video tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time where I interview Dustin Matthews. You can ask him any question you want, and he will help you out to hone your presentation and to get better at filling your presentations with the right people that want to do business with you, and then to get your message across so that they want to do business with you. So it's going to be a fantastic Facebook Live video tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here wherever you're watching this one. I will see you there. Thanks for being here today. Over and out.